Being in a relationship with a narcissist can feel like you're living in a dream, well, until it turns into a nightmare. At first, it's all passion, charm, and connection. But as time goes on, you find yourself doubting your reality, questioning your worth, and feeling trapped in a cycle of emotional highs and lows. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Today, we're going to uncover the hidden dynamics of narcissistic relationships. Narcissism isn't just about being vain or arrogant. It's a deeper pattern of entitlement, manipulation, and an inability to connect with others empathetically. It's important to understand that narcissistic personality disorder is a diagnosable condition and not merely a label for someone who behaves selfishly or excessively self-absorbed. According to the American Psychiatric Association, narcissistic personality disorder is characterized by the following 9 traits: grandiose sense of self-importance, preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love, the belief they're special and unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high status people or institutions, need for excessive admiration, sense of entitlement, interpersonally exploitative behavior, lack of empathy, envy of others or a belief that others are envious of them, demonstration of arrogant and haughty behaviors or attitudes. For someone to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, they need to have at least 5 of these traits. And I think it's also important to understand that narcissistic personality disorder exists on a spectrum. Not every narcissist will display all of these traits or exhibit them in the same way. The severity and expression of those behaviors can vary widely. So how does narcissism show up in relationships? Often, it follows a predictable pattern called the narcissistic abuse cycle. It's a repetitive loop designed to keep you emotionally hooked while the narcissist maintains control over you. It has 4 main stages: idealization, devaluation, discard, and hoovering. Let's break it down. Idealization, or also called love bombing, is the phase where the narcissist showers their partner with affection, admiration, and attention, making them feel special and loved. Then comes devaluation. In this phase, the narcissist starts to belittle, criticize, and emotionally manipulate and abuse their partner, leading to confusion, self-doubt, and emotional turmoil. Then comes the discard phase. At this stage, the narcissist pushes their partner away, often abruptly or cruelly, leaving them feeling abandoned and questioning their worth. The narcissist no longer finds value in the relationship and moves on to other sources of admiration. And lastly, hoovering, or also called re-engagement. After a period of discard, the narcissist often attempts to pull their partner back into the relationship through guilt, manipulation, or false promises of change, only to restart the cycle. Today, I want to mainly focus on the idealization phase, where everything seems perfect, and the devaluation phase, where everything starts to fall apart. The idealization phase, or what's often called love bombing, is where it all begins. During this phase, everything feels perfect, almost magical. The narcissist showers you with affection, compliments, and attention, making you feel seen and valued in ways you may have never experienced before, creating an intoxicating high. During this phase, the narcissist is highly manipulative and skillfully mirrors everything you've always wanted in a partner. They are able to read you so well that they reflect back to you the version of the person you think you need. Whether it's your values, interests, or deepest desires, they seem to embody all of them perfectly. This creates a sense of connection that feels almost too good to be true. Well, because it is. It's a calculated tactic to draw you in and make you emotionally dependent on them. One of the hardest parts of this phase is that it sets the tone for everything that follows. The intense connection and emotional high of this stage often keep victims clinging to the hope that the relationship can return to this perfect place. When things get bad later on, it's common to think, if only I could get back to the way it was in the beginning. But that beginning wasn't real. It's an illusion carefully constructed by the narcissist to gain control. And then without a warning, the dynamic shifts. The person that once made you feel so special now starts to tear you down. The devaluation phase is where the cracks in the narcissist's mask begin to show. Suddenly, the partner who once adored you becomes critical, distant, or even cruel. In this phase, the narcissist starts to systematically tear down your confidence and self-worth. They devalue you while keeping you close to continue feeding their need for admiration, also known as narcissistic supply. This shift can feel disorienting. You find yourself questioning everything. What changed? What did I do wrong? You feel anxious. You start feeling like you're constantly walking on eggshells, carefully monitoring everything you say or do to avoid triggering or upsetting them. The narcissist's behavior makes you doubt your worth, your actions, and even your reality. This is where gaslighting, a favorite tactic of narcissists, comes into play. They twist the truth, deny your experiences, make you question your memories and feelings with phrases like, "you're imagining things," "you're overreacting," or "you're just too sensitive." Over time, this manipulation warps your sense of reality and self-trust because the narcissist is so skilled at twisting the truth to fit their version of events. You begin to doubt your memories, your instincts, and even your feelings. You might find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do or taking the blame for their actions just to keep the peace. The more your sense of self erodes, the easier it is for them to maintain control. Another thing you'll notice during the devaluation phase is the narcissist's complete lack of accountability. They rarely, if ever, admit fault, no matter how clear their mistakes are. Instead, they dismiss your concerns entirely, deflect blame onto you, turn the tables, claiming that their behavior is a reaction to something you did. They're really good at twisting situations or your words to make themselves the victim. They may even lash out, or another favorite thing that they do is use the silent treatment to punish you. While they demand constant admiration and praise, even the mildest form of feedback or constructive criticism can set them off. Criticism, no matter how small, threatens their inflated self-image. Occasionally, they might offer something that looks like an apology, but it's never genuine. Their remorse is calculated to keep you from leaving or to manipulate you into giving them what they want. These moments can be deeply confusing because they seem like progress, but they're just another layer of the manipulation. One of the most painful aspects of the devaluation phase is its unpredictability. The narcissist might occasionally revert back to the loving, attentive partner they were during the idealization phase, giving you a glimmer of hope that things can get better. But these moments are fleeting, and they're usually followed by more criticism, emotional withdrawal, and manipulation. This push-pull dynamic leaves you chasing the good version of them, desperately hoping to bring back the love and connection you once felt. But the reality is that this back and forth is part of their manipulation. It keeps you emotionally hooked and makes you chase something that's an illusion. The emotional exhaustion from this phase is profound. Narcissists are often referred to as energy vampires because of how exhausting and depleting it can be to deal with their emotional manipulation. The devaluation phase is where many victims lose themselves. The constant criticism, manipulation, and lack of accountability make you question your own reality and your worth. You wonder how things went so wrong. It's important to remember this behavior isn't your fault. You didn't cause it and you can't fix it. The person you fell for in the beginning wasn't real, it was a mask. One of the most common misconceptions about narcissistic abuse is the idea that only vulnerable or weak individuals end up in these relationships, but that is simply not true. Narcissists are incredibly skilled at manipulation, and their charm can disarm even the most self-assured and confident people. From the outside, it's easy to wonder why would anyone stay with someone like this or even dismiss their experience as exaggerated or unrealistic. But what often gets overlooked are the powerful emotional dynamics that keep victims stuck. The trauma bonding, the manipulation tactics like the pity card, and the deep shame and isolation that develop over time. Let's look into these dynamics. One of the reasons why narcissistic relationships are so difficult to leave is because of something called trauma bonding. The cycle of love and abuse creates a powerful emotional connection. The highs of idealization, when everything feels perfect, are followed by the crushing lows of devaluation. These unpredictable shifts keep you emotionally hooked, always chasing the version of the narcissist that you fell for in the beginning. This isn't love. It's manipulation designed to keep you dependent and under their control. But it's incredibly hard to recognize when you're in the middle of it, and that's what makes it so powerful. Another tactic that keeps victims trapped is the narcissist's ability to play the pity card. When they sense they are losing control, they might resort to dramatic displays of vulnerability, claiming they'll fall apart without you, or even threatening self harm. These threats can evoke feelings of guilt or responsibility, compelling you to stay in the relationship out of fear or obligation. Narcissists often pair this tactic with stories of past traumas to make you feel even more obligated to stay. It's a deliberate strategy to exploit your empathy and maintain their power over you. Also, the emotional turmoil caused by narcissistic abuse often leads victims to experience profound shame. Many wonder how they allowed such behavior to happen and may feel embarrassed to admit their struggles, especially when they are typically viewed as strong and capable by others. This shame is amplified by the narcissist's manipulation, which makes you feel like their behavior was your fault. Over time, these feelings can isolate you from family and friends. You might pull away out of embarrassment or because the narcissist discouraged those connections. This isolation can make the situation even more challenging and harder to break free as victims grapple with their experiences alone, further eroding their self esteem and sense of reality. Breaking free from a narcissist is not easy, and healing is a journey, but it's possible and it starts with small steps. Trusting your instincts, seeking support, and reminding yourself that you deserve better. What helped me the most was understanding what narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder is and realizing that I cannot change the narcissist's behavior. Learning that this is a deeply rooted personality disorder helped me make sense of the chaos that I was experiencing. In the middle of the relationship, it's so hard to see the other person for who they really are. The love bombing, the gaslighting, the constant contradictions make it feel impossible to piece together reality. I kept asking myself, how can someone act this way and still seem so loving at times? But understanding the relationship dynamic, why narcissists behave this way, how they manipulate, gave me the clarity to realize that it wasn't about me, that I wasn't alone, and that I couldn't fix them. Even as I started to see things more rationally, my heart wasn't always on the same page. I still craved the good moments, the ones from the love bombing phase, or even the rare good ones we had later on. I was grieving the version of them I thought was real. But the more I understood, the more I realized that the person I missed wasn't who they truly were. The real version of them was the one who treated me poorly, who manipulated me and hurt me. And the truth is, if someone really loved you deeply, they wouldn't treat you like that. This realization wasn't instant, it was a painful process. Accepting that the love I thought I had wasn't real took time, and letting go of the hope that things could change was one of the hardest parts. There were days I felt like I was making progress only to take 5 steps back, but every step forward, no matter how small, brought me closer to breaking free. If you're in that process right now, know that it's okay to take time. Healing isn't linear, but every bit of understanding and clarity brings you closer to the freedom and peace that you deserve. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear from you. Please share your thoughts and stories in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more content on relationships. Bye!